Hello everyone. Thank you so much for choosing me as a speaker for this great event, TEDx 2020, hosted by the Choice School Thiruvalla. I might not be a subject expert for this topic. However, with my past experience and the kind of opportunities I've got to travel the world and see what's really happening, I have learned a lot through my perspective, through my practical life. And today I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts as to how I feel what we could do to sustain our earth, love Mother Earth, at the same time protect the future generations. Most of you who know me, perhaps you know me as an industrialist, but I want to today talk more as an educationalist because I realize hundreds and thousands of people talk environment every day in various forums. However, we're not seeing an end to it. So I'm going to look at it today from a perspective as an educationalist, and I must ask all of you that we have to pay attention through the process of educating people how to protect this earth and our environment. I am going to talk today about the topic, let's educate industries, people, and the common man to see what we can do to keep our earth and planet safe. We all know we need to produce mass food, rubber, clothing, energy, and so on. These necessities are not going to go away. They're going to stay. However, we need to balance this act to provide these needs through safe methods. Now, what is safety? The first part I would like to talk about is awareness. Bringing in technology, bringing in innovation to see how we can save the situation. The world is in trouble. We see climate change. We see global warming. We see various threats that persist here. And if we generation, our current generation, don't pay attention to this, it's only going to get worse. Now, we don't want that to happen. So the process here, what I see is, right from the young age of the population, we need to educate them. Importance of education. Schools and colleges should give more focus and attention in the syllabus and rewrite the books, what they learn and read every day, to include this subject of protecting our environment in a large scale, so that the awareness can be created and create the concept in the minds of the people in the very early stages of their life. We need industries. There is no escape from that. At the same time, we need to evaluate where are we going wrong. Take the country like India, where I'm born, raised, and I run businesses there, including manufacturing. Now, we have shortage of power. We have failures, electricity failures. We need to run our production. So what do? We create captive power. To create captive power, we need to self-generate using diesel engines. Now, what do the diesel engines do? You know that. They pollute. Now, what is it that we can do? Each government, especially where there are shortages of power, we need to create friendly power using solar or windmills and create more incentives for industries so that we can bring some process control and thus create a carbon neutral situation. How do we achieve this? There has to be incentives and education. Education is the most important thing. We pollute our oceans. Our resources in the oceans are depleting day by day. I'm in that industry. I'm also in the fishing industry. 30 years back, our fishermen went out to fish. They used to bring full load of fish within hours. Today, the fishing is what? They stay out at the sea 3, 4, 5 days, waiting for the catch, And if they're lucky, they get fish. Now what happens if there is no control for this 15 years later? There will be no fish, there will be no resources, the great protein that the human beings need. Now this is where we need to differentiate the process of education and maneuvering the industries to become more environment friendly through process of technology. And that is what we need to focus on. Now let's examine what's the way out. We need to find a solution. There are a lot of people talking about this, as I said earlier. Now what's the solution? Education, this is where I want to lay my stress on. Again, as I said again before. Now, how do we achieve it? Industries are the ones, various industries that pollute. Airlines, ships that are even spilling oil by accident and with intentions. Now, this is where our resources are getting impacted. Our environment is getting impacted. Now, let's take the question of plastic. Everywhere there's plastic. Now, why bottled water came in 30 years back? I don't think anyone could sell bottled water. Today, what is this? Because of the iron content and because of the fear that the water we get from various sources supplied by the governments are not safe to drink. So there came a new industry, water in plastic. Millions and millions in bottles of water sold in plastic. Now, where does that go? It goes back into a garbage in a very unscientific manner. Segregation of waste in third world, in developing nations, are still not there. But right now, I'm here in New York because of this pandemic. I keep good attention, a good eye of what the governments are doing here. Now, there are strict laws. State of New York, state of New Jersey. They don't allow any more plastic. But still I see some people violating it. Now, how do we correct that? Education. If we don't become responsible, how do we correct this? First, hence, I would ask all of you is to become a socially responsible individual. The governments have a major role to play. We need to fix this water bottle distribution. It is not being disposed correctly. It goes back into the ocean. I have seen plastic float everywhere. I frequently go to the ocean and I see that. Now, where does it go? It comes back onto the shore, accumulates again, and goes back. Now, this is where it is impacting us. So we have to have a social commitment. Governments need to step up. Industries need to be innovative, bring in technology to control the emission. Otherwise, we're going to see disaster. We may be gone. My generation will be gone. I don't think I'm going to see the disaster. But the kids will be born. The next generation that is coming up is going to see terrible times. And I doubt if those children of today are resilient to face challenges like we did. We walked to schools with no shoes. Now, it's all a question of convenience today. Children are not taught to be resilient. They're not educated in classrooms, in colleges, in universities. What are they learning? Of course, they're learning the subjects that they need to learn. At the same time, we need to introduce a process of education into the textbooks. And hours must be spent at every school level in creating the awareness and thus finding ways to escape this terrible situation. We got to do it. There's no other alternative. I spoke about education. creating awareness. Now, what's the next step? I think the industries that are polluting must consciously come forward and create a budget every year and reinvest it back into saving this planet. Now, how can they do that? Technology, innovation, planting, creating the situation where that they can use renewable energy and so on. I know that in the future, we know in the future, the cars that run today on petrol and diesel and gas won't exist. And that's a great sign. Look at the aviation sector. Millions and thousands of aircrafts fly in our skies. Ships, as I said earlier. Technology innovation, the social responsibility of an industry, of a business, the awareness in the boardrooms, allocating budgets for rebuilding the earth should become a natural process, not by compulsion, because we all are responsible. The earth has to survive. She's not happy. She's not happy to see what we're doing. So, responsibility is something that we need to bring in to protect us and all around us, including industries, and balancing the act of safety and comfort. We need to examine this very carefully on a day-to-day basis, or else we'll have a big price to pay. I'm sure there have been better speakers today on the subject besides me. They may be technically qualified, and I've said earlier, I'm not. But I'm only looking at it from a practical aspect of it. We need to fix this. We need to find a solution. And I'm sure people will listen to this every day and not just stick to one day of the World Environment Day. That's not what we need. We need every day to be the World Environment Day, to talk about it, to spread the message, to take corrective actions, to find solutions, technology, thus creating a safe earth, to leave behind the legacy of safety for the next generation, children to be born. And I'm sure if the process of education is given to them in the right measure, they're going to innovate. There's going to be more students going into the stream of environment. There will be colleges for environment studies. There should be degrees for environment studies. And thus create awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, children, Choice School, and to all those who listen to me, thank you so much for being a responsible citizen. Let's become more responsible. Let's give more attention. Let's give more impetus to this. And creating the environment that should be conducive for our safety and for the future. Once again, thank you for choosing me as one of your speakers. And I'm sure collectively all your speakers together, me included, would have spread the message, would have conveyed the message. Protect the earth. Look after her. It's going to help all of us. Thank you once again. God bless this world. God bless our intentions. And let sense prevail on all of us. Thank you very much.